Okay, this is another video for the vegan challenge for the family for an entire week. So this is going to be a little vegetarian because we're going to actually add in some cheese. I just thought cheese would work for this. But essentially, where this recipe came from was Nadia's Netflix special, Time to Eat. You should look it up. I watched about 4 episodes. I'm not a cooking channel type person, but the way she did some things, it was absolutely good. And I wanted to try this mushroom wrap. They basically call, if you Google it, it's Nadia's egg rolls. But we'll explain what that is. So here's the recipe, just real quick for anybody. 6 medium eggs. This serves 6 people. So 6 medium eggs, a tablespoon of dried parsley, a teaspoon of garlic granules. But of course, we don't know what that is because that's in Europe, but we have garlic powder. Why? Because that's our business. Thank you so much, Tabitha. Also, let's see, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of black pepper, some oil for frying. We've got some olive oil spray here. Might use something else. Sliced olives. I'm not an olive guy, so that's the reason why I have green pepper. I'm going to have some onions. I'm going to saute these first. Before actually, going with the egg roll. And then you got sliced mushrooms. They're in the refrigerator. They're not here. 6 small tortilla wraps. I've got flour tortillas. You can use, I guess, anything. And then 6 teaspoons of tomato paste. So I'm going to pause right here and then try to put together one so you can see it. Okay, now we're about to cook the mushroom wraps. So I'm going to show you the stove real quick. What we have on the stove. So we have our mushrooms already cut. We have our onions. We have some green peppers. Again, I wanted to saute a couple of these things before I follow the recipe. Inside here we have our 3 eggs with all of the other dry ingredients. And then of course I have some cheese that I'll throw on at some point in time. And we've got some just regular Crisco cooking oil. And right now, the stuff that you see burning off the actual pot is water because we kind of washed out the bottom of it. So one of the things that she says is, to cook the eggs, to stir up and cook the eggs and everything. But before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and prep one of our tortillas. So I've got about a teaspoon or so of tomato paste. We put that tomato paste. I'm going to use my fingers and get it in here. And I'm going to move it around a little bit. This whole setup is just brand new. So, we just take that and put that on the tortilla. And what we're going to do is make sure we smooth it out on the entire tortilla. In her recipe, she uses sun-dried tomatoes instead. The tomato paste is going to act as a glue, if you will, when the egg is in the process of being cooked. And so I've gotten my kitchen assistant who's giving me a nice little spatula to make sure that we're smoothing things out correctly. Again, amateur cook here, so hey, don't be too hard on me. Alright, so we've kind of got that smoothed out. The water is dried out of the pan. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a capful or so of oil. I've got this on medium high heat. If you're on a number stove, we've got it on number 6, between 6 and 7, so 6.5. Give me a second, let me wrench my hand. Now that that's done, I'm going to grab a fork and I'm going to whisk, if you will, the eggs together. Remember, there are 3 eggs in here. I pretty much cut the recipe in half from what I showed you before, and that pretty much is coming together quite nicely. So I'm going to pause, and when the action actually happens, we'll come back. Okay, the oil is heating up, so now what I'm going to do, because I don't want to use black olives, I'm going to saute some onions and some green peppers right now in the oil first. Now, why do I do that? It's because I don't want raw onions. A plate aunt of mine who's passed on, she loved herself some raw onions. So in her As you can hear my kitchen assistant, who doesn't want to be on camera, who should be on camera. That's another conversation for a different day. We're going to see if we can get her in here. AKA my auntie, who can cook her butt off. But she don't want to. We going to have to see if we can get her in here.
You are doing wonderful.
So, again, we're just frying up sauteing some onions and everything. We want to get a little bit of cook on them. Be nice if we can caramelize them, but I don't want to get all of it cooked yet. I want to still leave some of the crunchiness and the rawness in there. So that should be about enough. Now let's see if my pouring skills are good, because now what we're going to do is because this is 3 eggs, we're going to see if we can pour in 1 egg. Let me do this. I'm going to use my spatula to kind of move everything to the center of the pan. So no, I think we're good. I just want to move it to the center of the pan, because as this egg kind of moves out a little bit, I don't, there we go. Be good if you can get a pan the size of whatever your tortillas are, because in that way when it expands or whatever, it just expands, and it's not going to be too far off. All right. I don't think look at this shape. This is an very interesting shape. So I'm gonna see if that kind of does what it does while it's still gelling or whatever. What you're supposed to do is take your tortilla, put your mushrooms on. Okay, see, my assistant keep talking in the background. I'm gonna turn this camera on her, and then she gonna be upset with me. Upset. All right, cool. We got a couple mushrooms in here. I like a lot of vegetables. That's just me. And take a tortilla, again with the tomato paste, and we're going to see if we can push it down while it's cooking and gluing and everything. Make sure we push it down ever so gently. That's wonderful. So while it's still going, thank you so much again to my assistant, my lovely assistant. My lovely assistant wants me to use yet another spatula. That's a lot of washing dishes. I don't know about y'all. But what we're supposed to be able to do is take this in here. Again, amateur hour here. I'm trying. Is to now flip this over. Ah! Did y'all see that? Oh, sorry. Take a look. Didn't quite flip over. But we're going to do it. We're going to take all of the stuff that was supposed to come with it and put it inside. Oh. See, amateur hour, but still works. Still good food. And we're going to put this in here. Let's see if we can continue to cook the other side of the.
You put your stuff.
Everything is there. Yes, all the spices are in. We're good. So we're going to let this cook for a little while longer, and do what it's supposed to do in terms of frying. We'll be back. Okay, so one other thing I didn't do. This is my first one. So I didn't put the cheese in there. So now I'm going to take some of this. And I think the bottom of this tortilla actually looks great. I'm going to put some cheese in there. I don't know how much that is. I can't measure nothing. So, all right. So I should be able to roll this over and over yet again. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's in there. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is transfer it to my cutting board. Let's see if I can do that. I'm going to turn down this fryer. Not quite as interesting as hers, but let's do that right there. We're good. We're good. We're good. Thank you very much. Help her assistant. She's doing such a wonderful job. Won't you give her a hand? Our family's crazy. I need a knife real quick. I want to show you what this looks like on the inside. Thank you so much. So this pretty much is what the result is. Again, this is a very large one because I put extra vegetables in it. Again, amateur hour here. But if we were to cut this open, let's do this. what you have now is a pretty savory little mushroom. This is a vegetarian, not vegan, because again, we're using cheese and we're using egg. Some people consider egg dairy or meat. So interesting mix there. Anyway, that's it. So we're gonna eat.